Hey there, Moika. My name is Shirley, and I am a Chinese American living in Finland, and I'm so happy to be calling Turku my home. In this video, I'll tell you exactly why you should visit. A portion of this video is sponsored by UBG, but a little more about them later on the video. I will break this video up into different sections, and I will leave the timestamps below. We'll talk about where to go to eat, all the museums here you can see, nature and day trips, as well as getting around in the city. All right, let's go. Before there was Helsinki, there was Turku. Located in Finland's southwest coast, Turku is a 13th century gem built around the Aura River. It's a place born of the sea, where the legacy of tall ships and Baltic trade still echoes along the riverbanks. From the towering stone of a medieval fortress to the hallowed halls of the National Cathedral, this city is a living timeline. Today, that historic soul meets a vibrant, modern culinary scene along the cobbled riverfront, inviting you to experience a city that truly knows how to live in the moment. You can get to Turku in almost any way imaginable. We're about a 2-hour car ride or bus ride away from Helsinki, the capital of Finland. You can also get here by train. We have not one, but 3 different train stations. We have one located by downtown, we also have one by Kupita Park, and we also have one that stops at the port of Turku. So you can also get here by ship, or it's more like a ferry. Because we're so close to Sweden, there's a daily ferry that runs between Turku to Stockholm, and it leaves twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. And although small, we also have an airport here as well, so you can also get here by plane. They don't call Turku the food capital of Finland for no reason, so now let's talk about a few places you can go and eat. Step inside the market hall and you are looking at over 130 years of history. This is the second oldest market hall in Finland. While you can still find the classics like fresh herring and Karelian pies, it's also become a bit of a hub for new flavors. Seeing a traditional bakery sitting right next to a modern coffee roaster or a sushi bar is what makes this place so cool, and it's a must-stop if you are hungry. They're not open on Sundays though, so do keep that in mind when planning your trip. I'm currently standing in front of Market Square, which is pretty much the heart of the city and as downtown as you can get in terms of the city of Turku. Just a few steps away from the outer river, there is a lot you can find near Market Square. And when the weather is nice, there's also a lot of local vendors. A lot of different events also take place at Market Square, so I will go ahead and leave the Instagram handle of the Market Square on the screen for you. If you plan on coming here, give their Instagram a follow and you can find out what sort of fairs or events are happening here. Now, some people might laugh when they hear that Turku is nicknamed the Paris of Finland. But maybe it's because we also have a river that runs through the city. It's called the River Aura. Some people refer to it as the living room of the city, and there are a ton of restaurants lined all along the river, and you can even eat on a boat that's docked by the river. These historic ships stay anchored along the shore and have been converted into bars and eateries. Whether you're there for a full meal or just a cold drink, there's something incredibly relaxing about the slight bob of the water. It's easily the best seat in the house for soaking up the local atmosphere. If you want to see Turku's bad boy side, you've got to head up to Kakolanmäki, or the Prison Hill. It used to be the most notorious prison in Finland, but it's done a pretty wild 180 and is now the trendiest spot in town. Think of it as the Brooklyn of Turku. You can either take a small hike up the hill or simply take the funicular to get to the top. Fair warning though, it's famous for breaking down and locals also dub it as the garbage can. But once you're up there, you are treated to a craft brewery, fine dining, artisan bakery, and more. There's even a hotel where you can actually spend the night in a former prison cell if you wish. Of course, they also have normal rooms available too. The district is also home to a sleek, adult-only spa and high-end apartments. It's a perfect mix of gritty history and luxury, and it offers some of the best views over the rooftops of the city. I'm sitting outside of Kokron Ruissalo, and it's one of our favorite restaurants here in Turku. This is more of a fine dining restaurant, and they do also have a sister restaurant called Kaskis, which is Turku's only Michelin-starred restaurant. It's a small, intimate room that's arguably doing the best food in the country right now. They've earned their Michelin star by keeping things local. So think seasonal flavors foraged from the forest and the Baltic coast. It's that new Nordic style where everything feels fresh and a little bit surprising. It really shows that modern Turku is just as impressive as its medieval past. Just make sure to plan your trip around your reservation because these tables are the hardest to get in the city. Staying connected abroad can be such a headache. So I have a travel hack for you guys. Using an app such as UBG can be such a game changer. With the eSIM already built into most smartphones today, UBG gives you instant mobile data connection in over 200 destinations worldwide. And what I love most about it is the flexibility. There's no contracts, no long-term commitment, and most importantly, no surprising roaming charges when you get home. With plans ranging from 1 gigabyte to unlimited, you can also recharge your account on the go, even if you've completely run out of Wi-Fi or cellular data. Using an eSIM app like UBG has made my trip so much more stress-free. Plus, you can use any UBG plan to turn your phone into a mobile hotspot, and you can share it with the party that's traveling with you. Whether you need a local, regional, or even global plan, UBG's got you covered. And the best thing about that is you can even get it all set up before you even leave the house. So if you've got a trip coming up, I have a deal for you. If you use the code Finlandia at checkout, you can get 10% off of your next plan. I'll leave the link and all the details in the description below, but be sure to use the code Finlandia to get 10% off. Stay connected, happy travels, and I hope to see you in Turku. One of the most famous attractions here in Turku is right behind me, the Turku Castle. You can't miss the Turku Castle. It's been standing guard at the mouth of the river since the late 1200s. It looks exactly like what a medieval fortress should. Massive stone walls, winding corridors, and enough history to keep you busy for hours. It's been everything from a royal palace to a prison over the centuries, and walking through the rooms today really gives you a sense of how old the city is. It's easily one of the most iconic spots in not just Turku, but all of Finland. You can get into the Turku Castle by using your museum card if you have one. And if you don't know what this is a yearly membership that covers more than 300 museums here in Finland, not just in Turku, but in all of Finland. As far as I know, this is a yearly membership, so they don't have weekly passes or monthly passes or even daily passes, unfortunately. But if you're visiting Finland for a while and will be doing a lot of sightseeing, you can definitely think about getting this card. It's only a little bit over 80 euros for the entire year. For the rest of the museums that we'll be covering on this list, I will leave the museum card logo here so that you know you can get in with a museum card. Just down the river is Forum Marinum, the hub for Turku's maritime soul. You'll recognize it by the massive tall ships docked right outside, including the Suomen Joutsen, the big wide sailing ship you see in almost every postcard of the city. It's a great place to wander if you've ever been curious about the mariners and shipbuilders who put Turku on the map. Even if you aren't a total boat nerd, standing on the deck of a 100-year-old ship while the river breeze hits you is a pretty cool experience, in my opinion. I am currently sitting on board the SS Bor, and when you enter the Forum Maritime Museum, you get a little sticker here. This is actually my first time on the ship, and I just found out that there's a restaurant here as well as hostels, so you can even stay on board the ship as well. This cabin that I'm sitting in is called the Ship Owner's Cabin, and this is a map of the Laiva Hostel. There's a Baltic hall, common room, cabins, and sauna. There's also a lounge and a private sauna. I was also able to find a map of Turku provided by Forum Marinum, and there are just a whole list of things that you can do and see on here, so grab yourself one of these. To get a sense of where we are, if you look way in the back, that's the Turku Castle. And if you've been doing research on Turku and you've seen this big daisy flower, that's where it used to be. It's no longer here, and I just found out just now. Aboa Vetus Ars Nova is a bit of a 2-for-1 deal. One half of the museum is literally underground, where you can walk through the excavated ruins of medieval Turku. We're talking real stone streets and house foundations from centuries ago. Then you head upstairs and you are in a sleek, modern art gallery. It's a weird, cool contrast that perfectly captures what Turku is all about. One foot in the deep past and the other in the creative present. Overlooking the city is the Turku Art Museum, a granite icon housing everything from historic masterpieces to contemporary art. After exploring the galleries, you can head to Café Victor right in the building. Their famous 3-tiered afternoon tea with sweet and savory bites is the best way to wrap up a day of culture. Just a short walk along the river, you'll find the Pharmacy Museum and Quinzel House. This is actually the oldest wooden house in Turku, and somehow it's one of the few buildings that survived the Great Fire of 1827. It's super charming inside, and you can wander through an 18th century noble home, and then also step into an old school pharmacy shop that still smells like dried herbs and wood. It's quiet, quirky, and feels like a genuine hidden gem right in the middle of the city. If you want to see what Turku looked like before the fire changed everything, you have to go to Kakolanmäki. It's an entire neighborhood of wooden houses that was miraculously spared by the flames. It's not just a collection of empty buildings though, it's a living museum where you can see actual craftsmen working in their shops just like they did hundreds of years ago. They are only open during the warmer months, so check their site before visiting. Now, for music lovers, visit the Sibelius Museum. It's the most comprehensive music museum in Finland, and it's basically dedicated to bringing the country's musical history back to life. Named after Finland's most famous composer, Jean Sibelius. They've got everything from a concert hall to a massive archive and instrument collection, covering way more than just one genre. It's a bold, concrete landmark that proves Turku is just as much about its music as it is about its history. Definitely worth a stop to see and hear for yourself. And finally, there's the Turku Cathedral. You really can't miss it. It's been the heart of the city since the 1300s and is basically the grandmother of all Finnish churches. It's a massive red brick landmark that houses the tombs of queens and bishops, and its bells are the ones everyone in Finland listens to on the radio every Christmas Eve. Behind me here is the Turku Cathedral. Unfortunately, this 700-year-old museum and church is currently closed for renovations until the end of 2028. But if you go on their website, they do have a virtual tour that you can take online. There's a ton more to see and do here in Turku, so go ahead and head over near Market Square to find the visitor center. It's actually located inside the Kela office, which is the government agency that handles the famous Finnish social security system. It's where locals go for everything from student grants to pensions, so it's a very authentic Finnish experience. Grab a number and wait for your turn. And while you're there, pick up a copy of the Turku Aku Anka comic as a souvenir. Donald Duck is a national icon here, and this special Turku edition tells the city's story in 3 languages, in Finnish, in Swedish, and also in English. To really understand Turku, you have to look toward the water. The city is the gateway to a massive archipelago of over 20,000 islands. It's one of the largest archipelagos in the world, but you don't need a private yacht to see it. You can just hop on the Föli water bus. Since it's part of the city's regular public transport, you can cruise from the riverbank out to the islands for the price of a bus ticket. When you need a break from the city, catch the water bus during the warmer months or just the normal bus out to Ruissalo Island. It's an escape famous for its oak forests and beautiful 19th century wooden villas. But most people head there for the water. You can go for the luxury vibe at the Ruissalo Spa or stick to the basics with a proper Finnish sauna right on the Baltic. There's a great public beach, and the island is even equipped with campgrounds if you want to pitch a tent and spend the night under the stars. There's nothing like the refreshing shock of jumping into the sea after a hot sauna session. Now, to really feel the scale of the sea here, board one of the giant ferries heading out to Åland and beyond. Whether you're on a sleek Finline ship or the iconic red and white boats of Viking and Celia, the journey is just as good as the destination. The trip from Turku to Maritime takes you right through the heart of the world's most beautiful archipelago. You can catch a day cruise out to the Åland Islands or settle in for an overnight journey across the Baltic. Not only is it a great way to see the archipelago, but it's also a really affordable way to reach Sweden. You can get a few hours of world-class archipelago views, a legendary Baltic buffet, and a bit of tax-free shopping along the way. Turku is an extremely walkable city, but let's also talk about a few ways you can also get around. Getting around Turku is a breeze thanks to Föri, the regional transport system. You don't have to worry about digging for change or hunting down a ticket machine. You can just tap your credit card or phone as you board. The best part? One flat rate ticket gives you a 2-hour transfer window and covers the entire region, including the buses and the water bus out to the islands. Just be sure to flag down your bus by stretching out your arm when it approaches. You enter through the front door. When you want to get off, press a button to request a stop and exit the side or back doors. There are multiple bridges to get across the outer river from one side to another, and most of them are open to pedestrians. But the most interesting one is a water ferry that runs every 2 minutes for free from one side to the next, and it's called the Föri, and I'm on it now. If you'd rather explore on two wheels, keep an eye out for the bright yellow Föli bikes scattered all over the city. They're super easy to use. You just download an app, unlock a bike with your phone, and you're off. They're the best way to cruise paths along the Aura River or zip between museums without having to wait for a bus. Scooters for rent through their apps are also available as soon as the snow melts. When you're out exploring the city on foot or wheels, keep an eye on the ground for the unspoken rule of the Finnish sidewalk. Most paths in Turku are split to keep things moving safely. The smooth, paved side is reserved for bikes, scooters, and wheels, while the texture side is for pedestrians. Uber and Bolt works here too, and of course there are local taxis. Taxi Data is the largest and most established dispatch service in the region, offering a reliable app for booking and tracking. A quick phone call is fine too, even in English, and they have a variety of sizes of vehicles to choose from. And they also have vans that are wheelchair accessible. Now, if you'll be visiting Turku by car, there are some things you should know, especially if you are not from Finland or from Europe. If you'll be driving during the winter months, so that really depends on the weather for the year, it could be as early as November and as late as April. When you drive between those months, the car that you're driving on must have winter tires or studded tires. If you're renting a car here during that time, you probably don't have to worry about it because rental companies will most likely put those on already for you. But if you're driving from elsewhere and taking a car here, that's something to take into consideration. When you're parking downtown, make sure you look at the signs on the sides of the road. There are different zones and you can use a parking app. There are several available. The one that we use is called Easy Park. There are also free parking spots available, probably outside of downtown. There usually is a blue and white sign with the letter P. It should also indicate how long you can park for, and you might also see an image of a parking disc. This is what the sign looks like when it's free parking. You do have to use a parking disc, and the limit is 4 hours. And when you see blocks like this is how cars should be parked. Sometimes you'll see it at an angle, so that means you'll have to park on an angle. But in this case, you just park straight like this. Typical parking discs are blue with a dial at the top. The one that we just got has a movement character on it, and you pretty much just turn this to mark the time that you park. Some parking lots for supermarkets and shops and sometimes even malls will also have this parking disc sign at the parking lot. Make sure you set this correctly or you might get a parking ticket. You'll see two numbers on the parking disc because Finland uses the 24-hour clock, so 7 a.m. is 7 and 7 p.m. would be 19. And the way these parking discs work is, let's say you are parking somewhere at 2:15, you will mark it at the next half hour, so you would turn your disc to 2:30. Currently it is 13:06, which is 1:06 p.m. And if I'm getting out of my car to park, I would turn the dial to 1:30 and leave it on my dashboard. Other driving laws are very similar to the US, if you are watching from the US, but just know that pedestrians and buses always have the right of way. There are a lot of crosswalks here for pedestrians where there are no traffic lights. So as soon as you see a pedestrian step near the street, you must stop your car and let them pass. When you see a bus parked at a bus stop, as soon as they turn their blinker on, indicating that they want to get back on the road, you have to stop your car and let them go. If you made it this far into the video, it might mean that you are really serious about visiting Turku. So I will leave two videos in the end cards for you to check out next. One is how to go grocery shopping here in Finland, and the other is some tips and tricks you should know before visiting. A huge shout out to UBG for sponsoring a portion of this video, and again, use my code Finlandia to get 10% off of your next plan. Because you've stayed all the way to the end of this video, here is a bonus fact. If you happen to be in Finland on the first Monday of the month at noon, there is an emergency alert system being tested citywide. The test is a continuous sound that lasts for 7 seconds. I tried to get a video for you guys, but unfortunately it was Easter Monday this month, so I wasn't able to record it. On public holidays, they do not test the alarm here on that day. And if you're a local watching this video, leave a comment below and let everyone know where they should visit when they're in Turku. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Moi moi.